Welcome, everyone. How are you today, Lloyd? Welcome.
I am fine, Miss Kimbaley, and how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Happy Scorpio season to all of the Scorpios out there.
Yeah,
This is going to be an interesting month, I suspect.
for a whole lot of reasons. First of all, we're in a brand new month, the month of November. And not only that, there's going to be a couple of things happening in the heavens, such as Mercury Retrograde. Not only that, but numerically speaking, November will be an 11 universal month. So it portends a lot of things for a lot of people, all depending on how they look at it. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It sounds like it's going to be fun. How was October?
October was good. October was good. It did bring about some changes. It brought about some opportunities in that sense. So in that way, it was very good. So, but we all change cycles. And so we know we now start with the cycle of Scorpio, but there is a lot of things to talk about the Almanac. There's a full moon on the 5th of November. Then the new moon will be on the 20th of November. And then there's our Almanac. And then there's some features about this particular month. So there's a couple of things happening this month. Thanksgiving, Veterans Day, which they call Armistice Day. See, 11 Universal Month. And so it's very, very interesting.
I see you just skipped all past my month. How was October, Kimberly? You don't even want to hear
No,
anything.
no.
It was okay. It was okay. I can't complain about it. What I wanted to ask you is, do you feel like October you got some things done that you wanted to start new because there was one universal month for October? Did you set the tone for 2026, handling the things that you want to be focused on for the next 9 cycles?
Well, I did the best I could and seemed like everybody and their mother sensed that I needed to be on my own. And can I help a brother out? Can I help a sister out? And I have to help Lloyd Strayhorn out first, okay? So that's the kind of thing. How was your October getting it off the ground?
It was good. I thought that it was a lot of new things that was started that was kind of exciting, and like you, just doubling down on those boundaries, knowing that whatever happens in the month of October is going to kind of much forecast how the next 9 years would be. And I kind of did things in a way to be intentional about the next 9 cycles. So I'm glad for October, but now that's over with. And as you said, we got a lot going on with November. And I heard all of the interesting things you were talking about, but I found something very strange about the month of November. And I just have to ask you this question.
Please do.
Scorpio
Hmm.
is a water sign, but it's ruled by a fire planet, Mars. How do you think that impacts scorpions?
Well, that's a good question because when I think of it, it produces steam. You got heat and water. It's like you got a pot of water that you put on the stove, and then you turn on the flame. At first, it's room temp, but then you come back a little bit later, and the water is boiling, bubbling, things of that nature. So, I guess with Scorpios, they can come to a slow burn symbolically. You know what I'm saying? For those that have Scorpio moons, Scorpio ascendants and sun signs, it all depends on the situation, especially emotional situations, because water deals with feelings and hunches and intuitions and a inner knowing about things. So perhaps that may make a difference too.
Thank you for that answer. I was just very curious. Now you can get started with everything you want to talk about for Scorpio.
Well, and you asked us as you like, we do not start any monthly forecast without a question coming from you. But this is a very interesting month in a sense that because it's a master number in numerology, the master numbers are 11 and 22. Some say 33, but I keep it simple. How did I get to November as a master number 11? I simply took the 11th month, added it to 2025, and it added up to an 11. So what does it mean? This is the pros now. Now that we're in 11 month, it seems universal month. All of us should be aiming to heighten our intuition, okay? Our spiritual awakening, our emotional sensitivity to what's going on about us, how we feel about a situation or circumstances or people. This month is excellent for being in synchronicity or lockstep with people, to develop a psychic awareness and a soul connections with the people who have meaning in our lives. It's also good for visionary thinking, cosmic downloads. So it's very, very interesting. However, emotional overloads are to be avoided, anxiety or nervous energy. You know what I'm saying? Also escapism. Instead of dealing with what's in front of you, we pretend that it doesn't exist and we try to escape from it, to become overwhelmed, to doubt your purpose. This is a thing. So all of us will have a purpose or a goal or objective. Let nothing waver or doubt it. You know, things have been crazy since the shutdown and whatnot. So a lot of people are kind of like really iffy and up in the air. But one thing is stay determined. To the negative also mood swings. So therefore, to stay in line, stay as much as control, and it's avoidance of practical matters, that the things that we should be thinking about should be kept in mind. Now, it's very interesting about this month of November because a lot of things are going on. First of all, Mercury goes retrograde on the 9th. But here's what's happening. If you look at it, it'll be an 11 universal day. So not only is this the 11th month, but it'll be 11 universal day. And this is how I did it, November the 9th of 2025. And it came out to an 11. Now, what's interesting is Thanksgiving is going to be on the 27th. However, before that, there's always an event that occurs on 11/11, which is used to be known as Armistice Day. They now call it Veterans Day. And that's because, and the word armistice, believe it or not, simply means the ending of this is when people stop fighting. They say, okay, we're going, we're going to suspend all tension. We're going to chill out, and it's between warring parties. So that's what it's about. So armistice went in effect on 11th month, 11th day, and the 11th hour in 1918. It was a 5 universal day, a day to bring about change. Okay, which is interesting. So what happens is they call it Armistice Day. Then in 1954, they made it Veterans Day. That's when they changed it. This was to recognize all of the armed forces, whether you're Navy, Air Force, Marines, to acknowledge all the branches of the armed forces. All right. So what also makes it interesting is that between 1968 and 71, it was changed to the first Monday in October. Gerald Ford, the president of the United States, born July the 14th, changed it back and made it a tradition that it'll be on 11/11, which is the date of the signing back in 2018. Well, when he made it official, it was in 1975, and 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 5 equals 22, which is another master number. So I just thought it was very, 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 very interesting for the most part. And it was it meant the temporary suspension of all hostilities by agreements between the warring parties. All right. And notice the word was temporary suspension because later on we had World War II. So World War One was fought in 1914, okay? And then,
Couldn't let a good thing last, huh?
please, please, why should we? And another word for armistice is called truce. That's just that simple, okay? I punch you in the eye, you punch me in the eye, we good, okay? You get now on a day like that. It's normally they'll say Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, Happy this day, or stuff like that. You don't say Happy Veterans Day. The proper thing is you give props to, we thank the men in service. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. And speaking of 11, which is a 2, they always give a 2 minutes of silence. The first minute is to recognize those who returned alive. And the second of that 2 minute silence is to recognize the fallen. So everything is symbolic.
I
Everything
think
is
that's
symbolic.
important for us to know because a lot of times we think about these numbers, but we don't think about how they are deeply ingrained in our history and our everyday lives as well. That's an interesting fact about 1111. And another thing that is interesting is I feel like this is a double down or can be a triple down energy this month because November itself is the 11th month. And then we have that very special day of 1111 with those two master numbers there. So, and when I think about the 11 energy, that's a wild energy, it's it's a wild energy. So it's no telling how that 1111 energy is going to play out. And what I made note from what you said too is the fact that the Mercury retrograde is starting on the 9th. Well, what's the cautionary number for the 2? The 9. So this Mercury retrograde may have a larger impact than the usual ones because that's a cautionary number for 11. So this will indeed, I'm expecting a lot of dreams, a lot of things going on this month, but also elevation, touching the world on a global scale. So we may see some good things out of this month too.
Hmm. Definitely. And the signs that are favored will be Leos first, Aquarians, then Cancers. But the signs that are likely to be more challenged, and it all depends on their date of birth, will be Aries and Scorpios, and to a minor degree Capricorns. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde from the uh, 9th of November to the 29th of November, a period of 20 days, which is normally 21 days. And so this way it just means being mindful and being how you communicate. Don't assume, you know what I mean, and whatnot. And especially since 11 deals with, which is a 2, which deals with partners. It deals with teamwork. It deals with partnerships and other arrangements where you got to be involved with more than one person. All right. So it also means to be on our best behavior. And then there is our almanac, which we do. Thanks to our viewers. And by the way, viewers, if you got anything else you want us to add, drop us a note in the comment column and we'll do our best to research it. So people always ask about cars. Well, the best time for cars is the 6th, the 15th, the 24th, and 25th. Now, what I found interesting was those dates, the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th, all added to a 6. So I says, what is that about? You know? Um, so, because 6 deals with home and family and security and whatnot. Now, for those who want to go into business, believe it or not, it's on the 24th, which is a 6. So I says, I thought that's interesting. Then electronics, you won't believe it, the 6th and the 15th. Yeah, yeah. So there's something happening in the atmosphere, numerically speaking, on the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th of the month. Now, habits, they broke the rule. This says on the 12th. So that will be the only day. As for hair, if you want your hair to grow, That's on the 1st and the 4th. Then the 20th, but the 24th comes up again, which is a 6th, and the 28th. So let's say you want to cut your hair to shorten the growth, to not let it grow so fast. Believe it or not, it's on the 6th and the 7th and the 10th. So out of 1, 2, the car, the business, electronics, habits, hair, 6 appears throughout practically all of the dates. So evidently the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th of this month is going to be very significant in things that affects the home, which it does, because it does represent home and family and things like that. So I just thought it was a very, very interesting coincidence. What say you, Miss Kimbaley?
That is very interesting. Everything equaling to 6. But when you look at it too, um, the number 2 is favorable to the number 6.
Yeah, 2s and 6s to go like that. It's earth and water.
Yeah.
So that means we all should be about the business of being harmonious as much as possible. Any other question before we start?
No, I think that's pretty good for right now. Thank you for everything that you've shared with us so far. You gave us a lot. I think if I'm correct, we are in that Mercury retrograde shadow right about now, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So
Yeah.
although it starts on the 9th, it's always about a week and a half leading up to it and a week and a half leading after it. So based upon it, you might as well say when Mercury's retrograde is retrograde for the month.
And I do want to ask, which I don't know why, but it shocked me. The Mercury retrograde shocked me this time. I wasn't expecting to hear about that. But I do want to ask for those that this is a cautionary period for the zodiac signs you say that may be challenged. What should they do during this time?
Well, first of all, although it's a water sign, it is still governed by the planet Mars. Although they reassigned Mars to Pluto, they bring it now reassigned, I should say, Scorpio to Pluto, the transformative planet. But it simply means to exercise prudence, exercise common sense, slow down, because 5 represents mental clarity, movement, variety, excitement, all those things. So it's not to let these areas be overexcited, overextend yourself, carry your nerves and things of that nature. And for those who are very 5 influence, born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, which is good, or under Gemini or Virgo, since it rules the nervous system. One of the things is when a 5 energy is under a lot of pressure, which is Mercury going to be, a lot of people should start experiencing some twitching around the mouth or the eyes, which is Mother Nature's in advance wanting to tell you to slow down. So if you ever talk to a 5 and they're under pressure, they will tell you either their lips start twitching or their eyes start jumping. And that's the only number that gives you an in advance warning if you pay attention. But 5s like to keep it moving.
That is so true. I never thought about it till now, but I do have a 5, and I have noticed that over time, like the twitch in the eye or the twitch near the lip,
That's a
under
5
stress.
influence. In advance, girl, hit the brakes, slow your roll, take a break. Now, this is what's important too. Since 5 is an air number in Mercury's retrograde and there is a shutdown, there may be additional confusion about air flights. Okay. Going especially around because Thanksgiving is one of the most travel holidays of the year. So a lot of people should try to either plan in advance, expect delays. I mean, this is under normal conditions, but with these conditions right now of things being shut down, it simply means that anything can go. So you might get there and wind up spending half the day waiting on a flight, or flights may be canceled, which I hope it's not. And then, then people aren't getting paid. So it kind of takes away the incentive, you know? That's all.
That is good advice.
Mhm.
So, what can we expect this month?
All right.
We're waiting on it.
Well, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Scorpio, your theme this month is adaptability. To learn how to be flexible, to be mutable, to adjust, to be fluid, so to speak, to go with the wind and everything. Now, this may be a challenge somewhat since your sign by its very nature is fixed in the way it focuses on things, sets the tenor and the tone of how it moves through things. So, but this time it's saying your best way, and I know it's your birthday month, it's party month, but at the same time, if you can allow that adaptability, you will do best. And now it's especially in the very first week, because from the 1st through the 7th, especially on the 5th and the 6th, the moon will be sitting directly in your opposition sign of Taurus. So it means to not overextend yourself, not try to take things too far, avoid any scandals or rumors that come your way, and just leave well enough alone as long as you preserve your good name and reputation. In the second week of the 8th through the 14th, then you'll get a sense to lay things in the proper order of the way you want to. So everything should be going like clockwork. As you go into the third week, around the 15th and the 22nd, especially on the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th, that's going to allow you to really make some changes that you want to, that's more in keeping with being adaptable and things of that nature. There's going to be a lot of opportunities and possibilities that should come your way. So the point is to make sure you keep an eye out for all the possible things that could lead to a better way of living, a better way of dealing with your money or career or anything else for that matter. As you close out the week going into Thanksgiving weekend, you will find that now you'll feel more at home. So if you're visiting family or family's visiting you or you making adjustment, that would be about right. The people who are likely to help you during the course of this month will be Cancers or anybody born on the 2nd, 7th, 11th, 16th, 20th, 25th, and 29th of the month. And don't forget, Mercury goes retrograde in the second week of the month. So it simply means to just not assume, to not rush, but to take your time. The color to wear, it should be silver. And your stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is Herkimer diamond. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Sagittarius, your theme this month is excitement. And can nobody get better excited than you, Sagittarians? And it's exciting in a way to increase feelings and emotions, to raise the passions and just the emotions of people, to make them be better. Excitement can be something or very contagious. And so if there's a wrong kind of excitement, people can go into a panic. But then there's an excitement if you go into a concert, excitement if there's some drama. And so the point is, it's kind of really made for you. However, on the 7th and the 8th, when the moon is in your opposition sign of Gemini, you may not find that the case, but it means simply in your home, the way you're relating to your relationships. So create that spark of excitement among your family members and friends and things of that nature. And the second week from the 8th through the 14th, that's going to allow you, believe it or not, with the exciting things that are happening or scheduled for you this month, a level of quietness, reflection, an attitude of laying back and not being bothered with too many people, but trying to figure out, okay, with all this going on, I need to take a moment for me to breathe, to kind of catch up with myself. Because in the next week of the 15th through the 21st, when the moon is sitting in your sign around the 21st and 22nd, and you happen to be in a financial week too, well, that week is a lot to get excited about because it's a finance and romance cycle at the same time. It's a cycle for a legacy, a cycle to mature, to grow up, and to begin to really see your worth and your value on the stage of life. As you go into the tail week or Thanksgiving weekend, is going to allow you to do some traveling, or people will come your way. But more importantly, it's going to allow you to clean house as we move into your sign anyway, because Sagittarius normally starts on the 22nd of the month of November, going into the month of December. So you're going to find a paradigm shift. It's going to be very favorable. So it's going to be a fulfillment of dreams, or a termination of things, or a chance to really get away and go somewhere of a far distance place. Now, who is going to help you? It will be Gemini and Virgo, or people born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month. The color to wear, Sagittarius, for November is Lagoon, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is lazurite. That's Lazurite. Okay. Now, for Capricorn, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, the theme for you this month is momentum. What do I mean? That means the energy, the momentum to keep things going, to start what you finish. You know, your sign is fixed by nature. It is Earth. So it means it's conservative. It's slow moving, which is designed to do. But this month, the theme is about adding that kind of momentum that everybody can pick up. It'd be almost like a contagion wearing off, where everybody is feeling your energy, that now, instead of just being conservative and laying back, hey, we want to go for the ride too. So in the second week, it tells me there's going to be some adjustments around the home and the workplace and conditions with people. But it also indicates too that it's going to be a time for you to begin to slow it down. Because as you go into the second week of the 8th through the 14th, on the 9th and the 10th, the moon is sitting in your opposition sign of Cancer. And what it simply means is to not overextend yourself, to begin to know how you're mixing and mingle, because it's during this week anyway that Mercury goes retrograde officially anyway. So you have to be careful how you say things, who's talking about you, and making sure your name or reputation is not misrepresented or misspoken about, to do anything that's very important that could maybe put you more to the negative than the positive. But in the third week of the 15th to the 21st is more in keeping, because now you're going to have this rock steady feeling. You're going to have this momentum, but it's like everything is in place. Everything has that kind of blueprint, that kind of meaning, that kind of direction. It's going to be very important for you. But it's going to be on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, in the last week of the 22nd to the end of the month, that now you're going to have an opportunity to make some changes. Now's the opportunity to have all the possibilities and opportunities that come your way. And it should be very, very good for you for the most part. Now, who is likely to be of help to you, Capricorn, during this month of November would be Leos, Aquarius, or someone born on the 1st, 4th, 10th, 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. The color to wear is saffron, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is the sunstone. Now, what about Aquarius? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius, your theme this month is about healing, to regenerate, to restore, to alleviate, to revive things. You know, healing comes in all kinds of ways. Healing, yes, like going to a doctor, healing of a wound, healing of the heart emotionally. But the point is to kind of, and then with Aquarius being a humanitarian sign anyway, it is definitely to your advantage to begin to exercise that healing kind of thing. It ain't like, you know, in the movies you put your hands on and people are healed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the sense that you sometime a kind word, and especially because this whole month is about duty, responsibilities, obligations to close ones, family members, and loved ones, whether it's in the personal realm, whether it's in the realm of education or health, anything of that nature. Because in the first week, you're going to be entering the month doing a lot of soul searching, not kind of wanting to be bothered, but laying back and making an assessment how things are going. It's in that second week of the 8th through the 14th, around the 11th and the 12th, where the moon is sitting in your opposition sign of Leo. And since that's a financial week, it simply means begin to heal your finances, begin to pay your bills, begin to look at anything that's outgone that you've neglected, whether it's your rent, your mortgage, or whatever the case is, to try to make sure you bring that up to speed. It's also going to be a kind of what you call a legacy week, where you might reconnect with people that you have not seen or heard from in quite some time too. As you go into the third week of the 15th to the 21st, it simply means now some of your dreams come true. It also means some trips too. That not that you have to go somewhere, but somebody from afar or distance come to you too. But it's also a week that you can manifest on purpose. The things that have been in your mind, the things that have been on the back burners that needs to come front and center, that will give you the opportunity. And it's going to make sense because in the week of the 22nd through the end of the month, especially around the 26th and the 27th, when the moon comes into your sign, actually of Aquarius, you're going to find it's going to be a good time. So your Thanksgiving week should be pretty nice for the most part. Now, it doesn't mean you have to necessarily be around kind of family and all kind of food and whatnot, because the week says you want to be about being alone, deciding what's in your best interest. And so although it's considered a family week, but if you want to spend more time with yourself, that would be about right. Now, who is likely to be of help to you during this November, Aquarius, would be Taurus, Libra, or anyone born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th of the month. The color to wear is lilac, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is pink moonstone. Now, what about Pisces? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Pisces, your theme this month is discovery, particularly self-discovery, to detect, to get to the bottom of things, to kind of figure out why things are happening, to diagnose, to analyze, to really take a closer look also. And this is going to be good because now you're ready for change anyway, this particular month. You're ready to break free from any restrictions, any restraints, any inhibitions that have been happening or placed upon you, whether psychologically, financially, emotionally, to kind of take a break from things. And so that's how you're going to start out the gate. How you're going to take that break is in your things with your home, your health, education, and whatnot. And the second week with the 8th through the 14th, around the 13th, 14th, and 15th, it says, be a little mindful since the moon will be sitting in your opposition sign of Virgo. And it's during that time where it says, reflect, make sure you think before you speak. You will have gone into Mercury Retrograde, which officially starts on the 9th of the month. So it's about being very, very discreet and discriminating about what you say as against impulse. Make sure you state with intentions. That's going to be very important. Going into the third week of the 15th to the 21st, that's going to be more in alignment with your financial picture, your relationship matters, things that happens about taking the next step toward maturity and growing up and being that better person. That's going to be very, very good time for you too. It's in the last week of 22nd to the end of the month, I should say, around the 28th to 29th, just after Thanksgiving, that weekend of Friday and Saturday. A lot of things should be opening up for you because the moon is going to be sitting in your sign. So it's going to also give you the attitude where you're much better, because by that time we will have changed from Scorpio in the Sagittarius, and the original ruler of your sign, in fact, Pisces, was Jupiter until they reassigned it to Neptune. So you find that the 21st of November, but by the time you get to the tail end of the month, things will go a lot better for you. Believe it. Okay, without question. Now, for Pisces, who is likely to be of help to you? You'll find that Virgos and Geminis will help you, or anyone born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd will be of help. And the color to wear is navy, from the darkest as you can. And the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is blue fluorite. Now, what about Aries? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Aries, your theme, Aries, believe it or not, is teamwork. I know you Aries are groundbreakers. Y'all like to go the whole thing by yourselves. But the month says for you, teamwork will get you further than if you try to do it by yourself. So act with a sense of unity and synergy and partnership and harmony and you will find that it will get you there a little bit faster than you do. So if you can find somebody who think like you, maybe another Aries or another fire sign like Leo or Sagittarius, but for the most part, that's what's going to be required. And especially patience and understanding. And at around the 3rd and the 4th, when the moon is sitting in your sign, that's going to be an exciting time to get the month started. And so you're going to find that it's going to be sociable. Your name, your networking, your career, things like that is going to be very favorable. And the second week, from the 8th through the 14th, that's the thing that says, okay, now I need to put the brakes on. Now I need to have a sense of order and purpose and direction and not do things in a helter-skelter fashion, because your sign, as you know, is fire. And whenever Aries do something, they do it with a lot of passion and determination. Because in the 3rd week of the 15th to the 21st, the moon is going to be sitting in your opposition sign of Libra on the 16th and the 17th. So it simply means be mindful of travel. Mercury will have been retrograde, which is a planet that deals with communications, that deal with travel. So it indicates using that more cautionary kind of energy for what you plan to do. And make sure that you double check all your plans, especially traveling, since you'll be in a travel week, and then Mercury governs travel, will be in retrograde. So it just, listen, it takes nothing to take your time and double check and save yourself a lot of wear and tear. As for the tail end of the month, from the 22nd to the end of the month, this is when things begin to improve on the home front, emotionally, romantically, family-wise, self-improvement, things with the home, going back to school, making adjustments, but it's going to be pretty good. And that Thanksgiving week, in fact, should be pretty nice. So if you do have this sense of family and belonging and camaraderie, that makes all the sense in the world. Now, who is likely to help you? Those under the sign of Cancer, or if they're born on the 2nd, 7th, 11th, 16th, 20th, 25th, or 29th of the month, you will find that they will help you to the degree that you want. Now, as for the color to wear, it should be turquoise. And as for the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite, should be blue turquoise. Okay, now, what about Taurus? Taurus, you're going to like this theme because everybody knows how y'all roll with this one. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Taurus, your theme this month is about wealth. I know you Taurus are saying, well, it's about time, Strayhorn. But here's what I mean. Not just wealth through monies, although that counts, but through prosperity, through legacy, through value, through worth and riches. See, when they say wealth, wealth comes in all kinds of forms. If you've got good health, that's wealth. If you've got a roof over your head, that's wealth. So it all depends on it. And so it's about not just taking it about how much dollars you got, how much stock you got, or other commodities or whatever they call these things you got. It's about health of mind, health of your surroundings. And this is going to be especially so because in the very first week of the 1st through the 7th, on the 5th and the 6th, the moon will be sitting in your sign. So you're going to be getting this sense of fulfillment, that everything is coming together just the way you want to. It's also going to allow you the opportunity to begin to put aside those things that no longer serves its purpose, because you go into the second week of the 8th through the 14th. That's going to be the week that says, stand on thy own, to thy own self be true. Do what is in your best interest, not about what your kids want, the folks want, relationships want, your boss want. It's what you want for yourself, Taurus. Because in the 3rd week, on the 15th to the 21st, especially around the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th, when the moon is sitting in your stress sign of Scorpio, that's going to be challenging. And it's going to be challenging because it's going to require a lot of patience. By this time, Mercury will be in retrograde. And so that means misunderstandings. I thought you said this. No, I thought you said that. It means be patient. Don't rush to anything. And if you got an important date or appointment, leave far in advance. So if there are delays or something unexpected, you won't get all anxious by the time you get to your destination. And then as you close out the week, from the 22nd to the end of the month, you'll find that then you'll be in a better space. You'll find that if you play your cards right, Your name and reputation will improve. It will only increase your wealth, increase your good name, but more importantly, increase your good reputation. So when it says, oh, if so-and-so said it, then that is so. Now, who, Taurus, is likely to be of help to you during this month of November? That would be Capricorn and Aquarius, or anybody born on the 8th, the 17th, the 26th of the month. Now, for those colors to wear, Taurus, it should be dark blue, and the stone to wear or carry over the bone shungite is black coral, okay? Now, getting right along, for the sign of Gemini, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Gemini, your theme this month, believe it or not, is mental clarity. Well, for you, this first week is going to be very reflective about your money situation, your financial status, because on the 7th and the 8th, the moon will be sitting in your sign. So that's going to give you a more clarity about how you need to go to improve your finances, to make life better for yourself as you move ahead. From the 8th to the 14th, that is a time where you'll be able to motivate people, to bring out the best in other people, to inspire them to be their best, to be the best version of themselves, as they say, all right? And I think all that's good because in the third week, from the 15th to the 21st, you'll find it around the 21st and 22nd, the moon will be stressing your sign, okay, in Sagittarius. But nonetheless, it is about maintaining mental clarity, to not let things ruffle your feathers. And because you are a Gemini, and because you are ruled by Mercury, and because Mercury goes retrograde in fact, on the 9th of the month, and will stay in this position to the 29th of the month, it simply means that if no other sign, you have to be more mindful about how you go back and forth and not just assume. That's the point of mental clarity being your theme. Don't assume anything. You know what I mean? No, I don't know what you mean. Let's have some clarity. Let's have some consistency about how you're doing things. Toward the end of the month, going into Thanksgiving weekend of the 22nd to the end of the month, that's going to be a time to just be patient, to join in partnerships with other people, because no person is an island. You're going to need people to go along. So those who are heading in the same direction of you or is thinking like you can form an alliance that's very meaningful, and you'll find it by being patient. And in fact, although it's going to be Thanksgiving week, you may not eat as much as you thought you might eat, but really be more conscious of how you're feeding your body temple, what goes into it and how. And you're going to be making changes probably around your home, the office, and some relationships, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, who is likely to be of help to you, Gemini, is going to be Pisces, it's going to be Cancer, or anybody born on the 2nd, 7th, 11th, 16th, 20th, 25th, 29th of the month. And the color to wear is twilight blue. And the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is tanzanite. Tanzanite. That is what is for you. Next, we have Cancer. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Cancer, your theme is about tradition, which is perfect for you. Cancer is known as the sign of family anyway, the host of women, of the house of the mother, so to speak. So, and so with this being the theme for you this month, it's going to be like a hand in a glove, because not only that, you being in a water sign and this time of the year being a water period, you should feel right at home. And this means dealing with your beliefs, your culture, your customs, your habits, and making sure that you stay true. And one of the most traditional things in this country is Thanksgiving, which is being surrounded by family and friends and loved ones. But in the course of the month, from the 1st through the 2nd, you'll find that there's going to be a fundamental change that you're going to want to make. You want to pivot. Instead of going in the same direction you've been going into, this particular month as you open up November says, I need to switch off. I need to go in a totally second direction, because in the second week from the 8th through the 14th, around the 9th and the 10th, when the moon is sitting in your sign, you're also going to want to make a transition about your health, relationships, your finances, your home, your education. And it simply means take your time and look at things very, very carefully, because you want to be as traditional. And tradition has fundamental. Tradition is about family. And if no other month that represents, this is a family month, which is Thanksgiving. Not only that, it's in this month, that this week of the 8th through the 14th, that Mercury officially goes retrograde. So as we begin to move into the third week of the 15th through the 21st, it simply means now you want to lay back. Now you want to reflect. Now you're likely to come up with some weird or strange dreams like, what is that about? Those kinds of things that's happening. But it is a cycle where you be in the week of the law of attraction, that whatever you're thinking will be drawn to you. So since you're in the cycle, this theme is about tradition. Think in terms of what are the traditional ways, because things are so untraditional nowadays, it seems. So if you can master that, you'll do very well. However, as you close out the final days going into Thanksgiving week, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, leading up to the 27th of Thanksgiving Day, the moon will be in your direct opposition sign of Cancer. And so it means that be prepared for any financial loss, be prepared for any kind of thing that might upset relationships, but also be prepared for kind of having circumstances that forces you to grow up, to really look at life through a different lens and begin to see what part you've been really playing on life stage. Now, who is likely to help you during this month of November? Cancer would be Leo, Aquarius, or anybody born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. And the color to wear this particular month is olive, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite Cancer is emerald. Now, what about Leo? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Leo, your theme this month is about charm. And can't nobody be more charming than the sign of Leo. God bless their souls, okay? It represents beauty, to be the charm where you produce that kind of magic that people are just mesmerized, to show that glamour and that grace that only Leos are known to have, okay? So I know you Leos be feeling real good about yourselves, and you should, because it's ruled by the sun. And everything in covering this planet revolves around the sun. So with that being the case, yes, charm, but not charm in the sense of over flattering, but to use that grace to get what you want. You know, they used to have this thing, you can catch more bees with honey, okay, than trying to knock down something. And so just be charmed, just be gracious, just put on a beautiful smile, have a beautiful attitude. That's going to be great, because it's going to be really your prosperity month anyway, where things should be opening up. You're probably going to be busy as a bee, okay? Or I should say busy as a worker bee, but it's going to be a lot of activities. So in the very first week of the 1st through the 7th, your feeling will be about laying the kind of foundation that's going to be very important. It's like how you're going to start your charm school, so to speak, how you're going to use your grace. And it's not to take advantage of people. See, that's the point. It is to use that kind of energy that only charm can produce and make people open and receptive to the things you need to do or get done. All right. And especially on the second week of the 8th through the 14th, because on the 11th and the 12th, the moon will actually be sitting in your sign. And that will give you a chance to really begin to expand, to take opportunities to promote or advertise your productive abilities, to promote whatever you got, to put it before the public, to kind of get it out there and let people know what you bring to the table, so to speak. And the third week of the 15th to the 21st is about making adjustments. But at the same time, you have to understand that Mercury will be in retrograde beginning on the 9th anyway. So it means that whatever adjustments you make sure you double check. Make sure you just don't assume. You know, you'll find that by taking that kind of attitude, you don't have to go 2 steps forwards and 3 steps back, because you want to go forward, because Leos like to go forward. That is their nature. That's why they're the first to do this and the first to do that. However, as you go into the Thanksgiving week, from the 22nd to the end of the month, it looks like around the 26th, the 27th, actually Thanksgiving Day, the day before Thanksgiving Eve and Thanksgiving Day, the moon will be sitting in your stress sign. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to have a good time with family or things of that nature, but it could be something else around you that may kind of want to put a damper in it, but it's not you, because your theme throughout this entire month is to use your charm. You can open more doors with charm, magic, and manners than anything. Well, nobody can do it better than Leos for this particular month of November. So it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. Now, who is likely to help you? Sagittarians and Pisces, or anyone born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. The color to wear is royal blue. And the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is blue sapphire. Now, what about Virgo? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Virgo, your theme this month is inner wisdom, to share your life's experience, to have the insight and the foresight and the understanding that you can guide people through your understanding, okay? Virgo is the sign that I analyze. And so it's going to really give you a chance to really get deeper into yourself to begin to look at how you're going to be doing. Now, the first and the second day of the month, no kidding, the moon is going to sit in your stress sign. So if you think November's going to open up with all the da-da, it's not going to happen, all right? It might be a little bit more challenging. So it simply means watch your pocketbook, watch what's coming in, what's going out financially. Also means relationships or things or issues from the past. So pay a bill, pay a debt, as against putting it off if that is the case. Then, in the second week of the 8th through the 14th, around the 13th, 14th, and 15th, that's when the moon sits in your sign. And it's going to allow you to fulfill some of the things that you've been trying to get done for the longest. It's going to begin to not only fulfill those dreams, but it's going to, as a result of it, begin to weed out those things that you felt you've outgrown, that you no longer need in your space. And so in that way, it's going to be a very, very good for you. As you go from the 15th to the 21st, now you're going to get this sense of more independence, more self-reliance. And this is when this inner wisdom kicks in, where you have more clarity. You kind of see through microscopic eyes the direction where you head and where you want to go and why you want to go there. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you try not to step out on your own or do things in a more independent fashion. However, on the 28th and 29th, toward the tail end of the month, when the moon is in your opposition sign, like it was at the very first 2 days of the month, it ends in a way that says you got to be patient, you got to be understanding, and in some way, a member of the opposite sex may cause you a challenge, but if you know what's going on, you'll find that they won't throw you off your center. Now, who is likely to help you during this month of November will be Pisces and Cancer, or anyone born on the 2nd, the 7th, 11th, the 16th, the 20th, 25th, 29th of the month. The color to wear for you this month, Virgo, is dark violet, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is tourmaline. And last but not least, Libra. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Libra, your theme this month is about abundance. Now, that sounds exciting to me. Abundance how? To have plenty of, to have affluence, to be able to make things happen, a sense of prosperity, a sense that you've grown in richness. You know, again, abundance and wealth are often thought about just money, how much coins, how much stocks, how much real estate I got. But there are other kinds of things that go on too. It's a cycle that's going to give birth to ideas, birth to plans. You're going to have this whole business mindset in terms of abundance, and that's going to happen, especially in the first week. But on the third and the fourth, be careful, because the moon will be sitting in your stress sign of Aries. So be careful, and don't forget, we'll be leading up into Mercury retrograde that begins in the second week on the 9th. So just don't jump at something. Make sure that you look at things very carefully, because in that second week of the 8th through the 14th, now you'll be in a more independent state. Now you'll take use of your abundance and see how far you can take it, but you can't help other people until you help yourself. And that's what that second week is telling you to do. In the third week of the 15th to the 21st, around the 16th and the 17th, the moon comes in your sign. That's going to allow you to team up with people of like-minded goings in that direction. It's going to allow you to really form the kind of partnerships and other arrangements that's going to be in your benefit. And because Mercury will be dead into retrograde, then take your time, all righty, to do that, to begin to be patient, to have understanding, and let things unfold organically. Don't force things. That would be important to you. As you go into the very tail week, Thanksgiving week of the 22nd to the end of the month, it's on the very last day of November that the moon will be in your opposition sign again of Aries. And so it simply means not to overextend yourself, to make sure that you guard with carefulness and protectiveness your name and reputation. Don't get caught up in the people's gossips. You know, Thanksgiving is a time where people want to sit around and talk about somebody's mother and all this other stuff. You let them handle all that, okay? Don't get caught into that. Because if they're talking about them, more than likely they'll turn around and talk about you when your back is turned. So try to avoid that thing. But in terms of self-improvement, in terms of being that better person, in terms of enhancing your name and reputation, you couldn't have picked a better week than that going into the home stretch of the month. Now, who is likely to help you? Capricorn, Aquarius, and anyone born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month. The color to wear is dark gray, and the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is hematite. And Miss Kimbaley, that's it.
Thank you so much for giving us the wisdom and information that you gave us so that you can help guide us through November 2025. This is going to be an exciting month. I'm so ready to get going into this month. Let us know how your October was, first and foremost. Let us know if the forecast worked out the way that you thought they did. And let me ask you this question, Lloyd, because a lot of people I know when I first started listening to your forecast, they kind of sounded prophetic to me. What do you say to those people that feel like this is like psychic or prophetic or anything? What are you doing when you are telling us what we can expect for the month ahead?
Well, studying numerology and astrology for decades, they all give off an energy or frequency like a radio station or a TV station or internet program or whatever the case is. The key is learning how to read properly and interpret properly what those frequencies mean in certain situations. And so it almost seems prophetic. I'd love to get the credit, but I have to give the credits to the numbers, you know, because the universal language is math. This is how man has gotten into space and come back. That's how they can calibrate. This is how the AI has been developed. I mean, imagine the computer system is just run on two numbers, a 1 and a 0, or a 0 and a 1. Now imagine if you throw the other 7 numbers, 8 numbers up in there, okay? So, so, you know, it gives you an idea of the power of these things. So yes, it does seem prophetic. And yes, it would be nice to get the credit. Yeah, Lloyd said this, Lloyd said that. But all I am doing is I am an interpreter of the numbers. And this is why I tell a person, it's such a great question. So as we, you know, as people going into the new year coming up soon, people want to get readings. Well, everybody has a way of how they interpret numbers or interpret the stars. So so let's say you get to one reader, he says one thing, you get to another reader, they say another thing unassociated with the first one. That may be true. If you go to a third one, they say the seventh thing. One is like, you know, I see you traveling. Oh, I see a trip coming your way, or whatever the case is. Then you can rely. But I've been doing this so long, I seem to kind of know what fits. Nothing is 100% guaranteed, okay, for all the signs, but to a greater or lesser degree, which is why when we go into the 2026 forecast, I'm going to also add another dimension to our monthly forecast. So hopefully it'll make it even more precise. I'm doing the best I can, Miss Kimberly.
Can I ask what that dimension is going to be, or do
I'm
I
not
have to
going to
wait?
tell you.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. But seriously, The way you heard it just then, it kind of explains what he's doing. And if you feel like maybe you want to do this as a career, just stay tuned next year, because there will be classes teaching how you can use astro-numerology and actually build a career with astro-numerology. So keep your ears open for that. And also keep posted this month. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, and I know it's a lot of people watching that's not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because coming up soon, I don't know when the release date will be, but we will be releasing the 2026 forecast. And this is where Lloyd is going to break down everything you can expect for 2026, including going through the month. This will be the third year that we've
Mm-hmm.
done this. So it'll be 2026. We did 2025, and we also did 2024. So if you want to know what our year is going to be like universally, make sure that you're subscribed so that you can get the updates whenever we get that video posted. I also I'm going to allow you, Lloyd, to talk about some of the other things that you have to offer, such as the amazing ASTAR 8 app.
Yep. A couple of years ago, I developed this app called ASTAR 8, ASTAR, the number 8. So if you think of a star in the heavens with the number 8 attached to it, that's the name. ASTAR 8 is available on both Amazon, Android, and Apple. And it's amazing. It's an amazing app, not because I did it, but it's amazing because that's the way numbers work. And it'll help you time things to learn how to be in the right place at the right time. And it has a calendar. It has a relationship area. The app is now growing. It's in the baby stages. Now it's now it's walking. Now it's ready to really take some steps. And that's what we're going to do. So if it's relationships, your car, compatibility, business, travel, and a whole lot more, it's all available on ASTAR 8. Just download it on your app. You can either go, and by the way, this is a time when people want to reach me for readings. So they go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLOYD-Strayhorn, STRAYHORN.com, and click on consultations to schedule a time that's convenient for you. And also click on a star 8, and it will tell you if you are an Android user, you click this link. If you're an Apple user, you click that link. And then in February, I am going to be teaching a course, how to do this as a living. And in fact, in the time when I was terminated from a job of 20 years, only because, thank goodness, I developed this skill where a lot of people were struggling. It wasn't that I wasn't struggling too, but I didn't go through none of it because people always want to know what's going on. So yes, they want to kind of maybe play it down, but from J.P. Morgan, the famous financier who says astrology makes billionaires, to former President Reagan, to kings and queens who've used the advice of the stars and the numbers for decades and centuries, this will never go out of style. So I'll teach you how to do this. And it's something I really love. Now, what about you, Miss Kimbaley?
Yes, I got hooked myself. I started taking classes and got training. As a matter of fact, you never guess who my teacher is. My teacher is sitting right here and continues to this day to be my mentor. And I never thought that it would be possible in the beginning, but now I am using astronumerology to help people in their business. And so it's like I was able to, from the guidance and mentorship and teachings that I got from you, I was able to go on and create a whole different niche. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Everything that you share with us today, thank you so much for that. If you sit there and listen to the information, then we can just see or witness how powerful these teachings are and how helpful they are in the world around us. So I suggest to everyone go and get that app, because the app is just like having really a numerologist in your pocket. It's guidance. It's telling you every day whether this can be a good day or whether you can expect a bad day. And it also has those compatibility features. Let's just say you're working with someone new and you want to look up their numbers to see if you're compatible with them. They don't even have to know. But once you know, like what's it, the old commercial, no, it was a cartoon, G.I. Joe. And they said no one is half the battle. I think it was G.I. Joe, but no
Mm-hmm.
one is half of the battle. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are especially learning these sciences to help you in your everyday life. Look out for the link above. You will see all of his information, and you'll also see my information. The Business of Astro-Numerology is a book I just wrote, and this teaches all about business astronumerology. And also, you can schedule a 20-minute consultation to find out more about astronumerology for your business and how it can actually benefit your business. I want to say thank you to everyone that drops in each and every month and leave comments. You don't know how excited I get with the comments, especially when there's questions to answer,
Yeah.
because mentally it gives me something. Oh, let me answer this question. It gives me something to do. So I appreciate your questions and comments. Do you have any closing words for us today?
Yes, I wanted to say that actually it is you, the viewers, who make what we do possible. This November of 2025 represents our 23rd consecutive recording of the monthly forecast. 23 consecutive uninterrupted months. That's great for me. See, y'all don't know me, but that's that's great. Okay. And so next month we'll make 24. And the way it's going, it's just growing in popularity. The comments that y'all give us is very, very encouraging. And it's the things you say in the comments and the questions you ask, which is why I'll add a little of this to it this month, a little of that to that this month, and we tweak it. We want this to be the most original forecast for each month that you can get your hands on. We are open to suggestions. I'm definitely open to criticisms because I don't know everything, but this is how I learn and how I grow. And I must say to the person sitting next to me on the screen, Miss Kimbaley, one of the most proudest things is to see her publish her book. She's been and take it, of course, she found her own niche. It's in the world of business.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And I do want to say happy Veterans Day. We'll see everybody in December. It'll be December. Bye, everyone.